was a fog-laden evening when our newest urban explorer arrived. Once a bustling coal town, now lay abandoned, its streets smoothed by the smoke of a never-ending underground fire. As they entered, the fog thickened, wrapping the town in a suffocating shroud. The streetlights flickered weakly, casting long, wavering shadows. The silence was unnerving, broken only by the occasional, distant, muffled crack from the smoldering earth beneath. As our urban explorer ventured deeper, the fog seemed to grow denser, warping their sense of surroundings into a twisted maze. The familiar streets become unrecognizable, the once clear path obscured by the fog's oppressive blanket. Strange, echoing sounds, distant whispers, and faint, distorted voices seemed to emanate from all directions. Feeling a growing sense of dread, our urban explorer thought about turning back, but, driven by a sense of curiosity, pushed forward, noticing that the air seemed to get colder with every step. Just as she decided to retrace her steps, a low, guttural sound cut through the fog. A sound that seemed to come from everywhere, but yet nowhere at the same time. Her flashlight flickered erratically, casting unsettling shadows on the abandoned storefronts. Her heart raced as she turned to see shapes moving within the fog. Shapes not quite human, not entirely alien either. Panic sets in as it seems like some of the shapes are growing clearer, distorted, menacing. The fog seems to pulse with an almost sentient malevolence closing in on them. Her flashlight died, plunging them into a near-total darkness. Frantic calls for help, swallowed by the fog's oppressive silence. She sprinted down the mist-shrouded streets, desperate for escape. Her mind raced as she stumbled through the thick fog, the oppressive weight of the city's eerie presence closing in. The once familiar streets twisted into an unending labyrinth with no clear exit in sight. Just when it seemed like she might have found a way out, though, screaming. Somewhere in the fog. She recognized it. She had to turn back. But the fog swallowed her. And now she couldn't find her way back. Every direction she turned was just shrouded in fog. Her heart pounded like a drum and the air was thick with tension. Every shadow seemed to whisper of lurking horrors. Suddenly, a distant, metallic scrape echoed through the deserted town, sending chills down her spine. She turned, her eyes widened in terror. That voice was not one that she recognized, but one of a hulking figure emerging from the mist, his enormous blade racking down the ground, creating a spine-chilling sound that reverberated through the city. Desperation gripped, and she broke into a frantic sprint, her feet pounding against the cracked pavement. She could hear the relentless pursuit of the man behind her, his heavy footsteps growing louder with each passing second. The town's twisted architecture seemed to be conspiring against her, with dead ends and labyrinth passages offering no escape. Her breath came in ragged, short grasps, her muscles burning with exhaustion, but she knew she could not stop. The monstrous figure behind her was an embodiment of pure nightmare, and to be caught by him was unthinkable. She raced through the desolate town. She could feel the oppressive presence of him closing in on her. The fog seemed to thicken, obscuring her vision and heightening her sense of dread. She stumbled and fell in sheer terror, but she had to keep moving forward. She darted into a narrow alley, hoping to find a way through. The sound of the blade scraping across the ground behind her, deafening. Cheryl knew she was running out of time. With every ounce of her strength left in her, she kept pushing forward, hoping to find a miracle, trying to find any escape from the town that was Centralia, Pennsylvania.